Invited to join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That having been said, I will open the meeting 30 seconds early at 6 p.m. Thank you. First off would be roll call and explanation. Erin is usually all the way to my left. She is stuck in Manchester, will not be here. Would you please introduce yourself, starting with Tom?
Thomas McDougall.
Peg Hurd.
Mark Carrier.
Larry Brown.
Sean Perot.
Stan Nato. Dennis Wayne.
And Swain. In front of me, we have our new secretary who will be doing the minutes, Sherry Gazer, Gaesser. Directly in front of me, Selectman Andy Rawson, Ryan Thibault.
Yes.
And Heather Thibodeau. Okay, we'll get that sorted out. And various department heads and a few genuinely public people in the back row. General information. I had two conversations today. One with a director of the CAP program calling regarding the documentation which she had presented, and a second conversation with the person who's the administrator for the Stratford Regional Resource Center. More of that later. Betsy offered her comment that materials had come in, and I explained some of the cross purposes that had been facing the select board. We'll leave it at that. The department budget presentations listed on the agenda begin with highway, go down through treasurer contingency and bonding. My plan is to get rid of the small budgets that we have already had a chance to look at through paperwork, if you have gotten it, which would be treasurer contingency and bonding, followed by the town clerk, outside appropriations, then move to recreation, and then give Pat Smith the entire block of time to review the highway department, government buildings, and solid waste. So, then the minutes, as we can get to them, are down below that. So, we'll begin with the.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Oh, and please.
Thank you. Could I just make a motion to open up the Board of Selectmen meeting?
Let the record show I forgot to do that last meeting too.
No worries.
I can have everything.
Okay, and I will try not to shuffle too many papers from this end. We have also in attendance the police chief. So beginning with the treasurer.
Okay, I have that one.
Are you comfortable where you're sitting, or do you want to slide forward more?
Mr. Chairman, we're going to hold on a minute, because I don't have that budget.
You don't have the budget?
You must have the treasure. I had enough. I put it on everybody.
What, tonight?
Yes. Everybody got one. Take it home.
Ready for
You want me to make you a copy, Stan?
No, he's going to take
Got
that.
it?
Right here. You just gave it to me, thank you. Right?
No.
Everybody do this name? All right, I'm losing my mind then.
No,
Larry would say duly noted.
Oh, no, we'll start quoting Larry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You want to go down through it line by line?
Yes,
Is that
please.
how you normally do it?
That way, if there is a question, I'm most interested in getting the information and getting it heard clearly by the audience and seen clearly by the budget here. So the deal is, if you have a substantive question, bring it up. I'm sure anybody presenting will have the additional background. So start and plan to be interrupted.
Okay. All right, the very first line on your sheet there is the part-time for the deputy treasurer. That's $400. That's going to be for the person to fill in doing deposits if I am sick or out sick or unable to do whatever it is. It's $10 an hour. The second line is the salary for the treasurer, which is myself. That has an increase in it. We had, for the employees, it's a 1.75 cost of living and a 2% merit. The next line, the FICA and the Medicare are all percentages based on that number up above. The training line is a conference that I go to in North Conway for 2 days. It's for the Government Finance Officers Association, which is treasurers, finance people, finance directors like that from all across the state. The next line is office supplies. So that is basically ink cartridges and things like that. This next line is postage. It's $76. That's up $1. The post office department was very kind to tell me they're going up $1, so put that in there. The next line is travel and mileage. This has to be when I go for conferences and making deposits to the banks. The next one is memberships and dues is $35. What happened? What happened to the telephone bill?
It's on there.
It's on
It's
there?
between
Oh, no,
training and office supplies.
Sid,
It's on ours.
It should be on there. It's between what?
Training and office supplies.
I don't have that. I don't have it.
It should be on here for me.
This is the one you just gave me this
Yeah,
morning.
I don't know why
Okay.
it didn't get added in. Somebody put it in
I'll just
there.
I'll give it back to you. Okay, so then,
What do you have for miscellaneous here?
I beg your pardon?
I think it went in under miscellaneous.
No, it's on here. The sheet that you gave me.
Okay. This is the one I got last night. Your telephone is in this one.
Right. But this is the one that the town administrator gave me today to do my presentation tonight. So let me just borrow this one for a second. So there should be telephone between training and office supplies, and that's $180. That's a stipend. It's $15 a month, and we use that for security reasons for going back and forth to the bank because we carry a certain amount of cash. Okay. Memberships and dues is $35 to belong to the Government Finance Officers Association that I talked about. And the last one is miscellaneous. That's $94. That's for when we do hire somebody, we have to do a background check. So that's for background checks. So what did you have for total on this? Do you have the same total?
Yeah, I got $11,028.05.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No.
That's what was mentioned last night.
Okay. What was given to me to use my presentation was not that number. So 11,028.05. The reason why I point that out is that year-to-date interest that I've made on all the investments that I've done. On the general fund, I've made $12,500. On the sewer account, I've made $3,000. And then we have a lot of little escrow accounts and like that. And those, for this month, monthly they go probably about $600. So I guess what I'm pointing out is the bottom line for the budget is $11,000. But clearly, and I'm not even through the whole year yet, you know, I'm more than make that. Bob?
On your FICA line in Medicare, I know I've got them, they're low. I don't know the numbers. They were changed in order to get that 11,000. I gotta get those two corrected.
What I was given, and we know it's not correct, but maybe the FICA is correct, it's $103.37.
We got $388.45.
It's got to be higher than that because the
Oh, I'm
salaries went
sorry,
up and it's
I'm
less
sorry, I'm
than
looking at
last year.
this, I'm one line up, it says FICA is 44202.
Okay, we're not seeing that.
4202, and how much, 447.
13307 for Medicare.
Yeah, I can say that the salary elected line only includes the 1.7. So they'll mention a 2% merit.
What was that Medicare?
13307.
Okay.
It's 6760.
So what do you have for salary line in your forms?
2018, 6875.
For salary?
Correct. For the elected salary line.
Right, 7,129.38.
712938.
Okay.
So I have a question regarding the money that's coming back from the various. money that-
Investments?
So the investments, what exactly are the investments that you're putting the money into?
In the city of New Hampshire, we do collateralized deposits. And collateralized is the bank went belly up. We own these collateral. Collateral is any, and is stated in the state statutes what you can use, but it's generally government issued securities like U.S. Treasury bonds, bills, and like that.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry if something happens to the bank,
Yep, yep.
then we own these, and we actually have those in safekeeping. And we daily, I get a listing from that bank of what we have in treasuries.
Gotcha.
It's very safe.
I have questions on 3 different items.
Sure.
First of all, on miscellaneous, you said $94 in case you had to do a security check, background check on
Background,
somebody
criminal,
who
it's a
may-
criminal background check.
Who would you be hiring? What position would you be hiring for?
It'd be the deputy treasurer.
Okay, that's the next question. I had an issue with this line item last year, and I couldn't quite figure out why I had a problem with it. I guess my question probably may go with the selecting on TA more than you, but the part-time deputy treasurer for $400, is that a contract service? Is that
No.
a salary elected, or is that a
That's a sal- she's a-
employee of the town?
She's gonna be an employee of the town.
So you're an elected person,
Mhm.
correct?
Right.
So if you were to be replaced with these 2 people, these deputies still remain?
There's only one deputy, and that person would have that option. And, you know, they might change their mind and not want to do it.
Exactly. I guess that my problem is if you're in an elected position, drawing a salary of $7,000, why, I don't, from my own justification, I don't see why you need a deputy.
If I'm
If
sick,
you're in an
what
elected
if,
position,
what if I am sick, what if I have the flu or whatever? We have money that needs to get to the bank, needs to
you're
be
gonna be
done.
gone for a week at a time?
I beg your pardon?
You're gonna be gone out of work for a week at a time?
No, I don't plan to. I have been here for 20 years and I've had 2 days.
I understand that. I'm just having an issue with
Yeah.
justifying $400 a year for somebody that.
If it's not you, if that person is not used as, then the money's not
Oh,
gonna be used.
I'm,
The person doesn't get it automatically.
let
It's
me.
$10 an hour.
Yeah, let me pick up on that. It is a position which, because it is not full-time, is part-time. It is not a performance week-by-week item. It is an on-call fireman. So the number of times that on-call deputy treasurer can be used is limited, $100 to $400, and is not getting paid on a standby basis, is getting paid on a use basis. So there's $400 a year does not go out to that person year by year. It goes out as spent in the absence of the treasurer. I don't know the statute, but the treasurer is required to be, I'll call it the transport and controlling agent for X, and you are certifying basically, yes?
Yes, and also doing the investments and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So not just deposits, but also investments. And we use 3 large banks here near, so going to the bank and going through the investment.
yeah, Peg, I believe you are personally the Deputy?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
Tomorrow.
Uh,
Tomorrow. The
No.
sun will come out tomorrow.
Not wanting to be unkind, but basically, it's a gopher in your place to carry the money.
Mhm.
Okay.
My third line item I was concerned about,
Are you okay with the phone?
I kind of have to be, yeah, I don't worry. I just think, I personally can't justify it, but
But if it's not, it doesn't get paid.
But the last one is this new one, this telephone stipend for $180 a year.
Yeah.
I recall last year, the Board of Selectmen voluntarily rescinding their request for $1,500 for a phone stipend, saying it was helpful but not necessary. How is it, do you think, that it's not necessary for the Board of Selectmen that was stipend, but necessary for you?
They're not carrying large amounts of cash to the bank, and I had an incident back this fall where I was approached coming out of the bank with a large amount of cash. And luckily I was able to get into my car, and this is in Rochester, and the Rochester police came. But I did not have a cell phone, and the person kept on going around and around my car, and finally, like on the hood and on the windshield, I could not drive away without, I was afraid of hitting him.
Yeah.
So I would feel more comfortable if something was to happen like that again.
I'm sorry it happened, but
Yep.
how does that stipend change from that,
It gives me
preventing that from happening again?
It doesn't prevent it, it gives me a cell phone to use to call 911.
$15 a month.
Is there anyone else that carries deposits?
No,
Michelle doesn't do deposits?
no,
You're the only one that does deposits?
yes, and Peg will be doing them too.
I agree, I don't see the need of a cell phone.
Honestly, I don't.
I feel it's a security thing,
Well, I understand I understand having the need for a telephone, I just don't understand the need for a stipend for a telephone. Like I said, the Board of Selectmen voluntarily rescinded their request last year for $1,500, and they by far use their phone much more than you'd ever, I'm assuming. I'm sorry.
I'm only using this phone for 911. It's a very inexpensive phone, but I do carry large amounts of cash.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Have we
Thank you.
been able to, sorry, Dennis.
Go ahead.
Next.
So Stan, we're trying to figure out what the.
If the new numbers are correct to what you just told us, the new bottom number should be $11,289.47,
Yes.
which is $909.47 above last year.
So say that number again, Stan.
Which
I don't
one?
have a calculator.
Which one? Both of them?
You just said the total.
$11,289.47,
Okay.
with an increase of $909.47 over last year.
Okay.
And Sean will tell us what is the percentage?
8.76.
8.76% up.
There again, I did not do this spreadsheet, somebody else did it. I was given it to my presentation tonight. I received this late in the day.
My understanding, Mr. Chairman, we're not making any recommendations tonight either way, right?
Tonight, the pattern, I think, and everybody listen, is to hear the presentation, to come to an accurate number that represents the small math changes of FICA and Medicare, and then to be assured that is the final number coming from the selecting side of the presentation. Bob, what is we're looking at a meeting of the 30th?
No.
Talk
to Heather with this. It'd be better off if we do December 4th.
December 4th.
Yeah, that's going to be on a Monday. It's the Board of Selectmen are meeting that night, and it's going to be pretty much strictly for this. If I understand that correct?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a joint meeting with us?
Yes.
So it'll be a Monday night meeting rather than a Tuesday night?
Yeah, Tuesday, the planning board, I believe, meets.
I'm just asking the question, make sure we're clear on it.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't put it in, and then school board on Wednesday.
I'm just making sure I'm clear on it,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna change it.
That, yes. So
I will not be here on the 4th.
then the issue at hand is the calculation of the treasurer's budget, whether or not the the 8.76% increase is reflective of what the Budget Committee believes to be the value and competence of the treasurers. You have the structural responsibilities of the treasurer. You have the addition of the deputy treasurer for deposits, as opposed to the deputy treasurer for operations and investments. That's a
It will be a combination of, right now, it's going to be deposits.
Yeah. Okay. And the final, have the selectmen and TA, do you reach the same number of $11,289.47?
Sounds correct to me.
Okay. Then, do we leave it at that for the moment? Dennis? Stan?
For the moment.
Okay, then, for an easy record, at the bottom of the entry for the treasurer would be accepted figure from selectmen, $11,289.47 for further committee discussion. I think that should give an easy record of what we're doing. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Next would be contingency and bonding. I'm working. What I wanted to add, okay.
I'm going to make a change, Mr. Chairman. That's not contingency and bonding. It's debt service.
Okay.
That was my mistake when I took it in there. That's a little bit more.
The phrase would be, is it convenient? What I'm trying to do is to move the small items that are easily and quickly reviewed out of the way. Sure.
This is my first year going through this whole process, but it seems kind of crazy to keep hashing over the stuff over and over again. Wouldn't it make more sense to just vote now?
We don't have a total.
We don't have the right
Yep.
number.
Yep.
Yes.
Everything.
But Mr. Chairman, on this debt service, this is not something we have any say in whatsoever. It's normally we don't even look at it. It's part of the budget only because it's a contract that we're committed to, like interest and so forth on whatever the leases are, whatever. But we don't have no say. I mean, I don't understand why we're even addressing it.
Because it is there, because it is part of the budget, and because the chair agrees with you, and he said, can you bring something that is just a simple and 1, 2, 3 up and over, so we can move forward to the big issues. If I will put, I don't want to be speaking for the committee, but I agree, and Sam said it last year, and I agreed then, that this is carefully worked out financial information for what the town has to pay to service its debt. It is by formula. If we owe $1, they're not going to take 99 cents. And the presumption is that they are calculated accurately. Would the town administrator like to speak to that, and then we can move from there?
I think it's pretty well spelled out. It's for, the principal, the dump truck, and the interest, the grader, the TANs, which we don't have, the interest, the fire truck principal, bonds, lease, radio leases, and anticipated expenses. I mean, it's pretty clear. So if anybody has any questions, I can answer that.
Nothing you can do.
Yep.
No.
So this, for people who are looking at the town budget in general, this shows what it costs to follow through on major capital purchases that the town has. I will just read very quickly some of the items that debt service is required for. The 2016 International Dump Trucks, the John Deere Grader, the tax anticipation note service, which is in for $1, the fire truck principal, the fire station bond, the fire tower radio, no, the radio lease principal, and then we have an unanticipated expense, and that's the only one because that is a new name for an old topic which used to be called contingency, and now it is called unanticipated expenses. So anybody looking at the total debt service will see that it has gone up because of the inclusion of the fire truck and the fire station. We are up roughly $25,000 over last year. Any further comment from the committee itself?
More like $30,000.
Okay. Stan's more careful math, 30,000. 25 and 3, 28. Okay. Okay, that contingency and bonding, treasurer.
One more thing, are we still going to be working off the expenditure report dated 11/14/2017?
That's all we got.
Okay, I'm just making sure I have the right one that we're working on.
We didn't get no new ones yet.
Then, Michelle, are you comfortable with the presentation for the town clerk as the next item? Okay.
So never ask me to do graph again because that was torturous. Okay, so my first line is the salary part-time line. I do have 2 part-time employees that work in my office. This line reflects a 1.7% COLA for 6 months and a possible 2% merit for 6 months. So the line is increased 1,167 over last year's line.
Okay. The next line is the salaries elected.
I actually have a correction for that because I made a mistake.
Oh, you have a correction?
Nope, that is the correction.
Okay.
Yep. I miscalculated. I made my own mistake. Miscalculated.
Okay, with that said, so what's it, is there a new number for the
Yes.
bottom number?
There is a new number for the bottom number. It's 122941. Michelle was doing her own budget numbers. Okay, so the salaries elected includes 1.7 COLA at 6 months and a possible 2% merit at 6 months. So the request is for 51,564. The salaries elected, and I think we all know all the services Michelle does, including being available on Saturdays, which is a great service to the town, which a lot of town clerks are not, and the late hours she puts in on Thursday evenings. FICA and Medicare are functions of the salaries lines.
Can I continue? Okay, so the adjustment for the FICA would be 5,000. I don't have approval from the selectmen for that adjustment.
We're going to make it.
Okay. The FICA increased to $5,655 with that adjustment.
I'm sorry, what was that again, Michelle?
Did I say it right?
5655.
5655.
565. Thank you.
And then Medicare.
And then the Medicare increased to $1,323.
And that's what adds up to the 122,941?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Then I have a training line that includes, 2 spring workshops and an annual conference, and will allow me to at least send the deputies to one of each of those next year. The registry of deeds is for recording my liens, my lien redemptions and deeds when we take properties for unpaid taxes. That has actually decreased this year. The legal notices and ads, that's just for if I need to advertise for an employee that has left. Some of you may not be aware, but we have my office rotates a lot of employees in and out. It's you know,
You abuse them.
I'm very good to the employees. I love my girls.
Excuse me, and you are positioned, the deputies are also subject to bonding.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. We're all
And they
on.
are also subject to a criminal background.
Absolutely.
So those expenses will ride through every time, the same as the $94 in, for example, the treasurer's budget, who has the same kind of bonding and.
That's correct.
Good, thank you.
Under my professional services, I noticed in some of your other reviews of budgets, you were looking for a breakdown, so I do have a more detailed breakdown than what's in front of you. It does have the same words, I just will give you the numbers for them. So the Avatar program is $3,200 a year. Interwear, $700. The coding for, we have 3 elections coming up this in 2018. However, I budgeted for 4. There was one year, a couple of years back, where we had to do a special election, and it really, really put us in the pinch. So I did budget for 1 special election. All the coding for that is, I have $5,430 as an estimate. I've budgeted for $1,500 for Sanders searches. They do my lien researches for me when I go to either lien or tax deed. Security metrics, I pay $125 for. That's our company that secures everything for our credit cards. I have a P.O. box that is $115 annually. I usually budget for 2 notaries. Should I have a turnover, I want to make sure that both of my employees have we have enough money set aside to get for both of them to become notaries. And then I have $50 set up for a background check. I hope they don't have to do that.
Michelle, you mentioned that you would put in for an additional election, just in case.
Yes.
What's the value of that?
Of budgeting for it, we got into a pinch last year. We had I want to say it was our state rep that passed away.
Right, okay, but how much was that? How much you figuring for that additionally?
Additionally, I didn't break that down in here, but I didn't budget. I budgeted mostly for the ballots on that one.
Okay, so what monetary value you think you put towards in
it
case?
could cost us $2,000.
All right, so wouldn't that be under, we just changed the name of it for the town budget. You just said it, unanticipated. Would that fall under unanticipated for the town? Why would that have to be cushioned in your budget when we have a line that would absorb that?
It's where
in
it's
the event?
always come up because I'm the one who's paying for the coding.
That's true, but we don't know for a fact that that's needed. So it is unanticipated if, in fact, we have to do it. See where I'm going with this?
I understand where you're going with it.
Because you have an increase of almost $5,000, and $2,000 of it, almost half of it.
That's because last year we only had 1 election.
Okay, but-
This year we're budgeting for 4.
Okay, which is what I'm saying is, maybe we should budget for 3, and if you do have the downfall and have to do the 4th one, it should come under the other unanticipated one. Because this is,
I'd have to go, okay, so I would have to go back and refigure how much each election cost me and figure out what.
That's just my thoughts. I mean, if you keep on cushioning things, we're gonna have a budget that's up 20%. You know what I mean? If you keep on cushion this, cushion that, what if and what if? I mean, that's why.
I've never seen my budget.
I'm just saying for everybody, you know what I'm saying? I think that we gotta start saying, okay, that's what we have the anticipated line for.
Okay. Just let me know which way you decide to go.
I would have to say that we'd have to call the attorney tomorrow and see if that is something that the unanticipated line should be paying for as an election. I think really,
It's not, by the way, it's not all of it. Every
Right.
department has a portion that they should be budgeting for in case there is a special election. There's trustees of the trust fund, no, sorry, Karen, supervisors of the checklist, there's a moderator budget, there's my budget. I don't even know who else.
Crystal's, mine and yours.
Yeah. So we would all have to figure out, what part of that.
I understand, but my logic is
I see what you're saying.
everything I've seen except for 2 budgets so far this year is up. And at this pace, we're gonna have quite the increase in the overall budget. And I think we gotta start saying, well, maybe we shouldn't cushion this. Maybe we should, you know, go what we know is gonna happen.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I mean,
how have you done it in the past?
we've done it this way forever. Forever. Except for the 1 year that, my first year, I didn't realize I had to budget for that. Never even knew you, well.
But that's what the unanticipated line is for anything that the town didn't anticipate would happen.
You'll let me know.
Peg,
Just asking,
All of us will have to rework our budgets.
yeah, but just thinking about an unanticipated line, if everything goes in that, the grand total is still going to go up.
If it happens. Right now, we're saying what if.
No, I know, but I mean, don't you put the
Well, the trouble is, I mean,
unanticipated line in a budget?
That's what the line is there for.
Well, I know, but the line is there for also for other needs.
That is correct. 1 year we did the front steps. You know, that's not, you know, that wasn't anticipated, that we'd have to replace the front steps. We did use that line for that 1 year. There's multiple things that line's been used over the years for. I'm just saying, you know, it's gonna get to a point we're gonna have to start whittling some of it.
the question is planning for a special election, which is, by history, a prudent and necessary expense to assure good government, or is it a cushion? Unfortunately, to my mind, cushion suggests something that you're sitting on easy rather than planning prudently. The next point is whether the selectmen consider that assignment of costs with attorneys' input is an executive responsibility, a policy responsibility. Peg.
Okay, I guess my question was not answered, but I mean, is the unanticipated line part of the bottom line budget?
Yes.
So if we take it out of Michelle's and put it in the
We're not gonna
unanticipated...
inflate the anticipated
The line
line.
doesn't grow.
That doesn't grow. Why would you inflate
I
it?
don't, that's what I'm asking. I mean, I don't know
It
what...
doesn't grow. You're not taking $200 from one account and adding it to another account.
Okay.
You got a set number down here and you're just drawing from it if you have to draw from it.
All right, so that's already there.
It's already there.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
The question would be, of a unanticipated expense item over a trend of 5 years, how much of that has been specifically accessed and for what categories? With that information, then you've got the answer. If 30,000 has come in every year and gone out, then next year it will be 32 to account for the prudent unanticipated expense of the election. So as Peg said, you would not then gain or lose. It would be folded into everything. No conclusion on that. My understanding
Bob had his
is...
hand up.
I'm sorry, Bob.
If a line gets overspent in your budget, are we gonna go to the unanticipated because you didn't see this one
I've
coming?
never been overexpended, so I have no idea.
Any lines of anybody's budget,
Bottom line
actually?
budget, Bob.
Yes,
They'll
so
find
why
somebody.
do you wanna put it on the unanticipated
Because
line?
it's not a definite cost right now. It's a what if.
The thing is, you have to budget for the future. You have no idea what you're gonna run into. You ran into that 1 year. You didn't budget enough, and you got caught.
I did.
Okay, I remember that. You're budgeting for a year again, you don't know. It's almost like the winter time. What, we're gonna have a severe one, mild one? It's just a crapshoot.
Mhm. There are 7 days left in hurricane season for Houston to get wiped out twice. There goes your gas. There goes your gas prices. Suggestion: do I understand that the selectmen plan to check with the town attorney regarding expenses that can be put in unanticipated? Okay, then it is also, if I'm hearing you correctly, it is the conclusion, opinion of the selectmen and the town clerk tax collector that it would not be useful to recalculate all department budgets to pick up a share of unanticipated expenses. Is that what you were basically saying? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then,
I mean, I personally think that, you know, this is the way that she's done it. It's probably the way it's been done probably in the past 50 years. I don't know. But, you know, I think she should budget, you know, for the elections in her budget. And that's the way it's always been done, and that's the way it should go, you know, moving forward.
okay.
We've already voted on it.
If you'll allow the joke, are there enough lashes on that horse?
Thank you.
The conclusion, just for the discussion on this budget, selectmen will review legal authority on special election line where it goes. That sound right?
Yes,
Okay.
thanks.
Okay.
I have another question on the budget too.
Yes.
Have we got to the equipment purchase yet? Have you got?
No, I haven't.
Okay. All right,
Not
I'll wait,
there
I'll
yet.
wait then. Okay.
What's like,
We're still working on it.
am I good to go?
Go.
Okay, so for the printing and copies, we've decreased it down to $1. Historically, that line was used to purchase the automotive red books for us to do motor vehicle registrations. We have been able to use 2 sites for free, so I'd like to keep the line open should that ever change, and just leave the $1 in there. For supplies, supplies are used for the tax bill stock, the printer cartridges, the printer drums, the paper, the envelopes, the labels, the file folders, the storage boxes, the dog tags, the business cards, and miscellaneous office supplies. When I say miscellaneous, it's not just, it's staples, it's rubber bands, things like that. Then we have the postage, and that line pays for mailing absentee ballots, renewal notices, DMV daily work, online purchases, dog letters, civil forfeiture dog letters, tax bills, sewer bills for July and December, reminder notices for taxes, certified delinquent notices, the certified mortgage lien notices, the certified impending deed notices, and the certified mortgage deed notices, Fish and Game monthly reports, vital records, monthly reports, and mailings to the registry of deeds for recording.
Okay, well, I got a
That's why
question.
that line is so big.
Okay, but year to date, you were only at just under $5,000. Is there something coming up the next 2 months here that
Does
you
it include
expect?
my mailing that I just did?
I don't know.
Probably not.
That's why I asked her if we're still going on this.
Probably not.
Okay.
After that.
That's why I'm asking.
Okay. So the question is postage rates are going up. Is the cost of the certified mail going to stay roughly the same at about $7, $8?
It usually it usually goes up a little bit.
So the fact that you are flat means that you will come out very close to the bone and hopefully even.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And I can't budget how many people aren't going to pay their taxes, how many people aren't going to license their dogs. So I usually go back and look at history. What did I do before? Are these the same people that I'm always sending out? That's how I come up with my budget for postage.
I'm sorry, I can't resist. Some of that would be unanticipated.
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry. Continue, please.
Equipment maintenance, that's the line that I use for the annual maintenance that's done on the ballot machine. The equipment purchases, that's a line for printer replacement and safe replacement. Right now, I'm down, a couple of years ago, I lost a safe. We're managing with one of our old ones, and that's why I budgeted for a new one. If I can go the year without having to purchase one, I will try to go the year without having to purchase one. But I will always need a safe in my office
Well,
regardless.
that's understandable. What I was trying to get at is, on a daily basis, we get people trying to get rid of safes where I work. All right, junkies don't want them because of the cement in them, whatever. And at one time, we gave the DPW a safe. What is the monetary value you had for a safe? Well, how much did you figure for a safe?
1,500.
How big of a safe do you need?
It needs to be this tall, this wide. It
Is
has
it,
to have a key and combination.
has to have both? I'm sure I can do.
Fire resistant?
Absolutely.
They all are to a certain rating.
No. Do you have a?
It has to be. It also has to be secured to the floor.
Do you have? What, 8 years ago? 6 years ago, Stan gave a wonderful selection of lumber to the shop program at the high school, which he had encountered in his travels. If you have the detailed specifications for size, interior volume, fire resistance, and any insurance mandates recommended by Primex, pass them on. Stan is an excellent resource for that.
I did receive 2 lateral filing cabinets from him either 2 years ago.
The town got quite a few cabinets.
I had them re-locked, so
Yeah.
I did appreciate that. Thank
We
you.
get quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah. It was a great space
Good to
saver
know.
for me.
1, 2. That takes us down to mileage travel.
That was a me.
Mileage travel, membership, and dues.
Okay, so for the mileage, we decreased that. I'm not going to the bank anymore, so it's very rare that I have to use my car for anything personal. I can usually take the town car. And the same thing with the deputies. They can, if they can, they use the town vehicle. For dues, I do have 2 dues. I think one is 20 for the Town Clerks Association, and the other one is the Tax Collectors Association, and that one's 20. For miscellaneous, I've always had that line open just in case something that we did not plan for should
Okay.
happen.
Yeah.
And then just for your information, last year we had extra funds that we returned. It was a little over $14,000 from my budget that went right back.
Your department.
Absolutely, and you know, it was consisted of the printer and the safe purchase, and then I want to say some of it was mileage and things like that.
So, any other question? Tom, you're in.
Yes, when you talk about the ballot box, I'm assuming that's something different than what the moderator has in his budget for equipment maintenance? Because you've got programming of the ballot box, and then you've got maintenance of the ballot box.
I don't know what he does as far as his, but I control the ballot machine. Where you slip your ballot in
Yep.
during election time, that's my responsibility.
Okay, okay.
I don't know what he's,
You have to find out what his, I think I asked him that before, and I don't remember what it was.
Would that have been the question about who pays for the replacements, which is traded off town to school? Is that part of your question?
I don't know.
that was last year I
that was
answered
last
that one. We originally had $500 budgeted for it, and it was getting very confusing where, and I just said to them, you know what, just bill the school separately for theirs and stop billing me.
How many do we have 2?
We do have 2. The school has 1, we have 1, but they're both in this building.
Okay.
So there's no more 1 year the school pays next year?
No, I got rid of that the second year I was here. It was just too confusing.
Then, anything else down from Sean?
When you swore me in, you said you're jumping into the deep end. You
I
were-
did?
Yeah, you were 100% correct. No, you gave me a warning.
Welcome to the deep end, Sean.
Then,
It's fun.
a question. We have a budget of $121,923.
No, it's 122,941,
I'm sorry. Did I, whoops, that, I'm sorry.
the new one. 122,941.
Which is 4884 above last year.
Okay.
4.14% increase.
Good. There is, I think, every assurance that the cost of an additional special election will be folded into the budget somewhere. Is the budget committee content with the presentation and detail of Michelle's budget presentation to accept the number from the selectmen that presently stands.
But,
So what did you get for a percentage? I didn't get that.
4.14.
I'm,
I didn't get that.
That's what Sean got, not me.
I hear nothing. Dennis? Dennis? Stan? Sean?
I'm good.
Tom? Peg?
Yes.
Bob? Larry? Okay. So for conclusion, on the town clerk budget, the budget committee, what did I say?
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's why I said Michelle's budget, to make sure I got the right one. The proposed operating budget for the number that was just read off, the budget committee accepts the selectmen's number prior to its own vote. I think that's fair summary?
We haven't voted on nothing yet. so.
Yeah, I know, prior to its own vote. Just so when we go back over the minutes, we know what we're looking through. Anything else? Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Just before you move on, if you don't mind,
Yes, Ron.
could we just do a quick vote, because the numbers change a little bit
Please.
from what we vote on. So I'll make a motion to amend the town clerk's budget, 2018 proposed budget, total of 122,941.
I'll second, all in favor?
And 0 cents. Okay.
Thank you.
Then, that, Karen, would you like to do recreation and supervisor
She
checklist?
said she wanted to go last.
No, I did not say I wanted to go.
Get up here.
I said, because Andy's here to protect me.
You probably think oh, I'm
All
sorry.
right, which one are we gonna do first?
Parks and Rec.
Okay.
That's the big one.
Parks and Rec, supervisor of the checklist, and I forgot to give a number to economic development, so we'll put that in right after you are finished. So you have recreation, trustees of the trust fund, supervisor of the checklist, the trouble interpreter.
It is. Does Heather do full time? Do you want me to?
What, okay, want me to do you? Okay. You ready? I think we all know Karen Brown is and all the services that she provides for town, including all the basketball, all the wonderful meals that she makes downstairs on Tuesdays for the seniors, including this week's turkey dinner, and all the countless other projects she puts in. So her full-time salary request, which includes the 2% and 2% merit, 1.7% cost of living, is for $42,455. Then she's gonna go from there.
Okay. My part-time salary line is for 7 months because my part-time assistant director also serves as a Camp Three Ponds director, assistant director, and she helps me with the beach. So only 7 months comes out of the general fund. This line is up $2,468. She has a base rate of $15 an hour. She has her business degree. And that's what she was hired at the camp for, so we carried the $15 an hour over, which is well under any other assistant director in this area. Let's see. The FICA line, do you need more explanation on that? Okay, the FICA line for the two of us is $31.62, which is an increase of $248 to reflect both the salaries. Medicare line is $740, which is a $59 increase over the 2017 budget. Training is up a little. I would like, this young lady really would like to eventually be our director. I would like her to join me at the NHR Parks and Rec Conference to be able to commingle with other assistant recreation directors in this area. So she has an idea of what they do in their scope of their job. She's very good at it. She's jumped right in and taken on a lot of responsibility, and she intends to stay, which is a big bonus for us. She'll have a few years under me to really learn. This is a huge job and it has many aspects to it.
So is that a one-time deal? As far as the training, is that a one-time?
No, we go once a year to the New Hampshire Parks and Rec to keep up on the new rules and changes for Parks and Recreation as far as liabilities for the town. There's a lot when you're handling children. We had 67 children in our custody all summer long, and it's a lot of responsibility. And $15 an hour is very small money when you're talking about that kind of responsibility. She is the second command down there. Uniforms, we have $125, which gives us each $62.50. And this year we did a little different. We didn't each buy like a vest or something. We actually took and went to an embroidery shop and had our own clothing altered with the town emblem so that we'd have a variety of things to wear. In Green Street, who does the police and fire and all them, give us a really super big deal. So it worked out really well.
Small question.
Sure.
Is a town patch available that can be sewn on repeatedly?
I don't know. I think it would probably just be as expensive to buy the town patch as it is to have the embroidery. It's like $10 a article.
Mm-hmm.
So it would probably cost that much, if not more, to have a patch made. And we're a little different. Hers will say assistant director, mine says director, because when you go off to these conferences and stuff, everybody is labeled so they know who they're having a conversation with.
Can I back you up one?
Sure,
This report that I'm working off, the expenditure report,
sure.
shows that you get more money than what you allocated in your training line. It shows a negative availability.
Yeah, there was money encumbered on that. I'm not sure what happened. It never got brought forward.
If it was encumbered, it shouldn't be involved in this budget at all.
Correct. It was going to be corrected. Because what happens is this conference, although you sign up for it, I just signed up for it, doesn't actually happen until January. So the funds don't come out till you actually go to the conference. So it reflects on my January credit card, so I encumber the money in this year because I know it's anticipated. I'm already signed up for it. So I have to come up with the funds in
What I'm getting at
January.
is, it shows as a negative 71.333% used, negative. It's showing you.
Because the money that was encumbered got put in that line and it shouldn't. That's what I'm saying. It was spent. I don't know why it got put up there, but it did.
Can you look into that, Heather?
And also, the professional services line, same thing.
Okay.
What is it, what is it
The
say?
professional service.
Professional services line, same thing.
All right, so are we moving forward to contracted services? We're just keeping those lines open, transportation as well. Professional services goes for a lot of things. So we have mandatory background checks on anybody. If they could come just to help on one trip or whatever, I still have to know who's around the kids. It's New Hampshire state law. So we have a little cushion there. Any program that can pay for their own, they do. But there's a lot of other things that I don't have the cost covered, so that's what that line is for. Or if there's another training that specifically comes up that I should be at, I will use that line to go there too. Because my training line is totally depleted with just going to the New Hampshire Parks and Rec Conference. Electric is up 6%, a increase of $77.94 to a full $13.77. Telephone is level funded at $835. That's my monthly rec phone, which is it is necessary. I go off on trips with these kids. I'm at ball fields. I'm at. I have to be able to call out in the kids and the parents if a game gets canceled. I spend the morning calling everybody, tell them not to show up. Printing is $200. This is level funded. The line, this ink. For the rec office downtown, my Camp Three Ponds and the beach all pay for their own ink supplies at the different places where they are. So,
How many offices do you have?
I have an office downstairs and an office at the beach. And we actually have almost like a third office down in the rec hut for all the kids' stuff that needs to be locked up and,
You can't consolidate it all into one office, or at least two offices?
no, because I'm on site. I do a lot of the administrative stuff out of the beach office, and Erica does the camp stuff down there. I can't have anybody.
But downstairs?
Downstairs, it serves as supervisor of the trust funds and trustee of the trust funds and supervisor of elections. It's a multiple office, and my assistant is housed downstairs in this building to oversee the community center. So she has an office downstairs, and plus it serves two other, you would have to provide as a town another setup for the trustees and for the supervisors by law. You have to accommodate those, their town functions, and you don't have a choice, so you kind of luck out because I'm one of all three of them.
Oh, so
You are lucky.
let me count the ways.
Postages, supplies is 1403, but that covers, stop laughing. That covers all the self-funded programs cover themselves. However, Easter, Christmas, Halloween, those are town-sponsored functions, and they're not free. And this is the line I use, and that also covers all my toilet paper, paper goods downstairs, cleaning products. That serves a multitude of things. And any cost that we can defray, like we had a concession stand this year at Halloween to defray the cost of putting it on, which it did by a couple $100. So postage is $200, and that covers anything recreation has to send out, thank you letters, donation, asking for donations. My office operating supplies is $1 just to keep it open. Building maintenance, I don't know why that went down to 0, and grounds maintenance because that was turned over several years ago to DPW. So, but we still leave it in case something happens, and I have to bring some of that back.
But 0 is not a placeholder.
Well, it should be $1, then change it by 2 months. So, I know, I don't know why it migrated to a 0, it should be $1 to keep those lines open.
You gotta talk to the selectmen, we can't just change it.
Okay. Equipment maintenance is $250, and that is going to be, again, in the two other budgets. If something was to go wrong with the computer downstairs, and $250 is not going to buy you a new computer. So there's $250 in this budget, and $250 in the supervisor budget, and $250 in the trustee of the trust funds budget, so that if there was a breakage or we needed to update software or put more memory in, it's covered in 3 different budgets, giving us 2, 4, 5,
Would that go
7,
under
50.
equipment purchase, though, if you had to buy, not equipment maintenance?
Well, maintenance would be software, if something has to be put on the computer for elections or whatever, that is
Like what you just said, if you had to buy a computer,
Yeah, well, the next line's $200 in it.
so it would be in that line, not the line you just discussed.
Well, it's technical support maintenance, which is taken care of under the town contract with the computer company, but if you take that away, there is nothing. If I need to maintain that computer, I have nothing. I need to do the trustees or the supervisors, so. The next line is, if you have more questions, the next line is equipment purchase, which is also covered in 3 budgets, $200 in each budget. Mileage and travel is up to $250. This covers the cost associated with me taking my vehicle to conferences, workshops, off-site supervision. If the kids go on the bus, I follow the bus in my car. If there's an accident, I have a way to take the kid or follow an ambulance. If I'm on the bus, there's no other.
Do you use the town car at all?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm not taking the town car out of town every day.
I'm not suggesting that,
No,
but
I
I'm
don't.
saying, why you have to use it for some stuff?
I used to when I made bank runs. I don't make the bank runs anymore. It's been turned over to the treasurer, so. I use my vehicle for what I do. And if I'm going to a conference or something, I'm gone all day. I'm gone from early in the morning till late at night, so I take my own vehicle. Dues and subscription is $70 for our membership on New Hampshire Parks and Rec Association, which allows me all kinds of professional trainings and stuff, which happen in Concord, which I take my own vehicle to. And then miscellaneous $1. So the overall total increase to my budget is 73,2360.
So what do you have to look at?
I have my bottom line is 61,655.
Karen,
I know, there was a difference on you guys.
what fee was?
Approve more.
62,578.
What?
So the training line should be 500, was your training line 500?
Yes. I think it was the difference in the electric line because
23.
I went off 6% off what it was last year.
Yep. And then the mileage line should have been 1,000.
1,000, yep.
So 62,578.
Hey, what changed?
578?
62.
Because everything you just said is correct in the lines. You said the training was 500, mileage was 1,000, that's all on here correctly.
I didn't increase my electric line as much as they did. I did the 6% off what it has been, 12.
So the 1377 is incorrect?
Are you comfortable with that?
I am
Karen?
comfortable with that.
Then,
All right.
then
Leave it.
61,655?
Yep.
But the fee was for this.
But what?
We'll make a motion to change it.
Go back.
Well, you're making a motion, do you want to change that $2, $1 on each one of them lines?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Which I thought we did that too.
I thought you did too, but it didn't get picked up on.
Yeah.
No, it didn't get picked up on mine either.
Okay,
So yeah, change it by $2.
Okay, so what are we going to now?
60.
61657.
616, it looks like 27.
No, I got
29?
61657.
Mhm.
Is that what you got, Stan?
That's what's
I
on the
just added
report,
$2 to
yeah.
the bottom
Yeah.
line, I didn't have the whole column.
Yep.
Okay. When,
The Colin is right. I read it a couple times this afternoon.
750 on 1,000.
Yeah, but she said go with
So you're about 13.48%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
I
some
can't go
there.
up to $2, can't get it up.
The 1,000's in
That
there.
actually was brought
Oh, it's not on that
it.
printout?
Oh, shit, it's on this printout, it's not on this printout.
This is what my, you guys, this is mine and that's my line. I did everything this afternoon.
Just
Alright,
clear
so-
This is what,
salaries
yeah,
are
can I
strictly
say,
reflecting
what do you want?
over
What's yours?
merit. That's
Every one of them.
That's
I
what
need
it
that
is.
for-
That's what I have plus
Okay.
$2.
Plus $2.
Police.
What do you want, Karen?
right. But
I
that's
need
only-
some-
that's only like where that
61657.
increase comes from.
0.
would you
Here's
please,
zero.
when,
I need that then.
So,
when you call out a number, please indicate that the last two digits are the pennies, so that it's, 29.95 is one
I
thing.
left, we took all
20
the change out of them.
Then it should be, and 0 cents.
Right.
So that it is clear
Okay.
where the
But it's still
dollars
up
are.
change over last year.
That's no problem. I have a question,
Sure.
which is on mileage and travel.
Yep.
Do the selectmen or possibly DPW or TA know the total mileage put on the town vehicle for this year so far? I'll do it in 5,000 mile jumps. 5,000, 10,000, 15,000.
I don't know.
Okay. Pat, do you have a
I
thought?
don't have it on me.
Okay.
There's a lot.
The fact that an alternate emergency vehicle is offered, the phrase bothers me because I don't think that a private car is a qualified emergency vehicle.
I said I follow.
If it is a following vehicle, there's nothing that prevents the town vehicle from being used. It does not matter if the trip starts at 6 a.m. in the morning and leaves and comes back at 8 p.m. At night. It is still a usable town vehicle. Similarly, traveling from this office to the town beach may be only 2 miles, but it can be done in a town vehicle. That's a small thing. I mention that just as a mild corrective to the discussion on the treasurer's transportation. I like the budget. I thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
I have a quick question.
Sean.
So you mentioned the assistant director, last year it was a little over $6,000. This year it's $8,500. Is she working more months this year? Or next
No,
year?
that my last assistant was making $10 an hour,
Okay.
and that's the difference in the,
Gotcha, so it's the same amount of time, just
Correct.
the pay is higher.
yes, because she took a higher pay at the beach to start with, so I can't say, come back and I'm only gonna give you $10 to do this. It doesn't make any sense. And she's got her business management degree.
Yeah, I'm
It's
sure she
still-
would say, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's a
I'll
good
move on.
bang for your buck. So which budget would you like to do next?
Mr. Chairman, I got
Oh,
Tom.
sorry.
Speak.
my own stuff. You've got training showing up in your backup in 2 different places. Why not lump the training all together? You say, and you've got a line for training that, and you also talk about professional services.
I
Well,
only
I
use the
think-
professional if I go over and there's nothing I can do. That's the only other line I could go. If they offer a specialty class, I don't have another line to take it from. But the professional services mostly is used for background checks, and we never know how many we're gonna have.
Because that's like 30 background checks. That sounds usual.
Every camp pays for themselves, but yeah, we could have, it depends what we do. If we do a big project, we could. Nobody can be around kids, they can't, and the seniors.
Yeah, I understand that. It's just the fact that, I mean, if you've got money built in there also to go to training, I'd rather see that money taken out of here, put under the training line to more give us a better idea of, okay, we're spending this much on training for our recreation department. That's part of why it's so good.
Okay.
Kind of, you know, if you don't have money built in there for training, and you're just making a comment that if there's something else that I want to go to, I could take it out of that line, and that's different.
Right.
But if you've got money built in here that you're intending for training, I would rather see that go into the training line than, so maybe to avoid my confusion, take out the training blurb in there.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys are talking about the mileage and travel, I gathered that you have training in here because the mileage to get to training, but not actual training is removed from this line. Is that accurate?
Right,
Or
when I
is
say
this-
travel, it's because I'm getting in my car, like I'm gonna be heading to Bartlett in my vehicle. And
And Tom had mentioned that he thought training was, the cost of training is coming out of this line?
no, it's to get to training.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, pick one.
Let's go to supervisors since it was. Because I do have also the special election. I do have a question on this because I was told probably 4 or 5 years ago that I'm not talking about full-time elected, I'm talking about part-time elected, such as the supervisors. I have one trustee of the trust funds that receives a salary, but I was told we weren't entitled to any 2%, like the 2% or the cost of living. So our lines have been stagnant for many years because I was told that because we were part-time elected, that you were elected for that salary and that's it. And if that's not true, then I want to know.
That's between you and the BOS.
Because it can't be for one and not across the board. If we can put in for cost of living for the treasurer of the trustee of the trust funds, and I would do that if it's allowed. I was told it wasn't allowed, so I have a little conflict there.
Is it a stipend? Or
It is a
stipend?
It's
or
a
salary?
stipend for the elected official. It's her salary that she makes for the year.
That suggestion, it would be the distinction between, do the selectmen themselves receive a salary or a stipend?
Stipend.
Do the selectmen themselves, are they eligible for COLA and merit?
We might be, but we don't take it.
That, okay. That,
This is a treasurer's position, though. She is the treasurer for all the trust funds and all the capital reserve funds. And I was told that there were no raises in those salaries, that it was an elected position, and I was elected. There is no difference, that's what I'm saying. If the town treasurer can put in to have that line elevated, then I would like to go back to the selectmen and elevate the the trustee, the trust fund's treasurer's position was stipend too, or
Yeah, well, that's
COLA,
policy
And
between you
moderator.
guys.
and the moderator, right?
And
Because
if you're gonna
it
do it
can't be for
you should do
one
it
and
for all.
not for the rest.
Okay. Rather,
No, I'm just asking these guys what their take on it was.
Saying we shouldn't.
I'll tell you, my
Okay.
understanding was if you're salary elected, then it's strictly between you and
The-
the voters who voted you in.
does the sir, a question, does the treasurer of the trustees of the trust fund serve by direct election or by vote from the?
Oh, vote within the trustees, make her the treasurer,
Fine.
correct?
Okay.
We're all,
Then there is no person who is elected to an office. They are elected to be their co-equal. Secondly, does the treasurer have the fiduciary responsibility to supervise and make investments for the town?
absolutely, we all do.
Who is the agent that does the work?
Marion
The tre-
Crafton,
Who is the agent who does the professional services to supervise the investments of the trust fund?
Bearing Point Investments. But
Does
there's a lot
the
of-
treasurer of her own authority have the power to override the investment decisions of your agent?
As a group, we do. They're under our directive,
Okay.
so.
Thank you.
What are you taking it as? We had a legal opinion, so it's.
Yeah.
so-
Again, it's back to between that board and the board of selectmen, it's not our purview, so
Okay. Then,
Well, what I, yeah.
yeah.
that's between you guys.
I think based off what I just received for information,
You
that
can't read the whole thing.
it was an
Right.
error of what we did with the treasurer. I don't think that we should have changed that.
Okay, with that said, do we have to go back and readdress the treasurer then?
That's my opinion.
That-
I don't know.
No, you cannot read it because it's a legal opinion, but they said.
Oh, no, I thought you just meant this not to. Okay. No, I think unfortunately, we gotta address the elected, the treasurers by that opinion.
Suggestion, then, would you, I'm sorry, I forgot how far down we got in the
Supervisors?
supervisory.
We haven't started, I have a
Started.
question.
That's why that one sounds. I'm sorry.
I will go through this and then we might have to readdress it in the future,
Yes.
how about that?
In the, I picked
These are
up,
all elected, correct?
I picked up
Then the answer is
the
no?
wrong one.
Okay,
Um,
so, because I was told that several years ago, the answer is no.
Then just repeat the line that you are now addressing.
I am addressing the supervisor of the checklist salary elected.
Okay.
For, the request is 264740.
Karen, just for clarification, on your breakdown, you have 2015-16, then you got two
Oh, yeah, okay,
2017.
that's
So that's a typo?
Yeah,
The last column
the
should-
last column should say 18, sorry. All right, so I too budgeted for 4 elections instead of 3, but I only budgeted the extra salaries for the 3 supervisors at $10.85 an hour for an extra 12 hours for each of them, because that's what it amounts to when our supervisors show up for elections. It's a 12-hour day at $10.85 an hour. So for a total of $1562.40, and then I budgeted 100 hours at $25 per 4 elections, which is a very low. That handles anybody new coming in, that handles processing their application, actually going in and putting it into the state system. It handles going in and putting in everybody that voted has to be recorded. The history of that has to be recorded. And then anything that needs to maintain deaths, people moving out of town. So 25 hours is a slim projection of what it might cost, but I went with that numbers for a total on that line of 2647.40.
So my calculations show that that's a 66% increase from last year.
because we were going from one election to 4 elections.
And it's such a small budget to begin with, that
Correct,
money
it's
does,
huge.
it sounds huge, but it's not.
It's
Well,
not.
1 to 4 makes a lot more sense than 3 to 4, so.
But again,
Yeah.
we're back to the same conversation I had with Michelle,
Correct.
one of them might not happen.
It might not, but it's a small, I want to say the last unexpected election was around $10,000 to do, you've got moderator, you've got them, you've got ballots, you've got all your supervisors. There's a lot of people involved in an election and it's not cheap. So just throwing that out there, you could be talking about around $10,000 for an unexpected election.
I remember that number.
So, do you want me to continue on this?
Yes, please.
Okay, printing, 200, that covers flyers that need to go up, it covers, ink, it covers, Marion does a lot of, no, this is supervisor, so I do a lot of printing reports. I can't tell you what my last year, what I used, expended last year, I'd have to really look at it, I don't know, but I'd say it was a bit, because I run the election, I run a lot of alpha voter lists and different things that have to be recorded. And then I go down to office supplies, that's anything, ink, pens, pencils, rulers, file folders, mandatory letters, which I just went to a big training on, and there's gonna be more of that, being designated by the state to send out 30-day letters and follow them up, and, a lot of procedures are changing because of they have found a few voters that voted in both Massachusetts and New Hampshire at the last election. So there's a lot of things that are gonna be changing for us because of those people. And then I have $100 computer updates, maintenance is necessary. 150 for replacement of printer, monitor, computer, and these two numbers are combined with the recreation numbers. I thought I had more in there, but I don't, so it's not actually even across the board. Rec has a little bit more of a chunk of this than the supervisors do. And then supervisor trainings and election workshops, we have mandatory. I just went to a mandatory training all day. And that just covers that. So a total increase of $1,052.40 I have from last year's budget.
Once again, 66% sounds extremely high, but it's a small budget, and it
Correct.
don't take much to represent a big percentage.
Yeah, and if you actually compare it with 2016, which is probably a better year to compare it to, you're actually lower than next year.
Okay.
Because of the elections anyways.
No. Then, the approved figure for the supervisor, which, I'm sorry, Tom?
I have a question here.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you, didn't see down there.
Do the amounts for, I'm not seeing any change across, when I go from 2015 to 17 for like printing, supplies, postage. It sounded like to me from what you were just talking about increased letters, things like that things like your postage may go up because of the way things have changed. And I didn't see any of that reflected here, but yet then when I look across, I realize that all these have remained the same regardless of the number of elections that are held in those years.
Right.
So-
It may get increased this year because of mandatory stuff, I'm not sure.
But if you look into the expense report, Tom, there's basically 0% to spend on most of those lines.
Yeah.
Right. I don't use it if I don't have to.
I have an easy copy of the expenditure report, so.
Yeah.
Did,
Sounds true.
did your question?
I just wanted to, my concern was,
That
it
we
sounded
weren't
like,
putting enough away.
yeah, it sounded like expenses were gonna increase because of the new things she was talking about, more letters, multiple letters, that kind of thing.
And they're really pushing on the 30-day
Yeah.
letters, but I don't know how many that will impact us, so until I do it, I won't know.
Yeah, and that was my concern, was that not enough had been put away.
Yeah, but there's other lines that we can, if we go over on that line, we might be able to borrow a little bit from to get us through this year.
Okay.
Last budget, we good to go?
Well, just, there is nothing in the town. Karen spoke earlier about the use of the office downstairs, the protection and the integrity of voting records, and absolute singular access to the ballot. By that I mean one person, one vote. Without that, we ain't nothing.
Right.
Again, thank you for the work. Last,
Trustee of the trust funds.
just a summary. The Budget Committee is content with the final number presented in the Selectmen's budget.
For now.
Yep.
Okay, and again, in that supervisor of the checklist budget, that number, as I have it, correct me if I'm wrong, $3,497.40.
Correct.
Correct. Okay, thank you. Last, trustees of the trust
Trustees of
fund.
the trust fund elected, which is all three of us are elected. However, only the treasurer takes a stipend or takes money for her position, because she does all the bookkeeping and the tracking of the checks coming in, and that all, she does the main handling between Bearing Point and us. And that line has remained the same for at least probably 4 or 5 years. FICA will stay the same at $144 and Medicare at $35. Training is 0 because at this point in time, the mandatory workshops we have put on by the Department of Justice and the Secretary of State's office is free. And we do go over to that workshop to keep up on the laws. You've got myself and another trustee, just work as a volunteer on a volunteer basis. We don't take any money for doing what we do. Printing and copies is $200. Again, there's letters that have to go back, and most of that is used by a treasurer to correspond with Bearing Point and the different departments if we have to send them the vouchers, all that stuff. Office supplies is $200. This is level funded, and that covers everything we need for files, staples, pencils, paper, whatever is necessary, and $50 on the postage. And I'm not sure if that will cover it or not, but I'm assuming I wasn't told to up it at all, so $50 is where we'll keep it this year. Equipment maintenance, again, is shared with the rec department and the supervisor of the checklist, and that's in the event something needs to be maintained or upgraded, that gives us a little bit of a budget to do it. Equipment purchase is $150, and that's also combined with the other two in case the computer dies, the monitor dies, and it needs to be replaced. The 3 budgets share that. Mileage and travel, $100, and that pays for the 3 trustees to go to Concord for trainings and back. So this whole budget is actually level funded from 2017.
Now, there's some expenses that are not in this expenditure report.
What?
Because from printing copies all the way down to mileage and training, gets 0 spent for the year.
Marion doesn't turn her stuff in until the end of the year,
Okay.
and then it's one big reimbursement. She just gives me a list of everything, and she turns it into the bookkeeper before December 31st.
We're trying to get the percentage on this one.
The chair will steal the thunder of the Water Commission representative. This is a 0% increase.
Correct.
Thank you, Karen.
Anybody have anything else?
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Heather, will you speak to economic development and outside appropriations?
We don't have those.
I don't have anything on that either. We do not have that one, Heather.
We're getting it.
You're getting it. You need
Oh,
another
okay.
one?
Well, I don't know, we're putting together a packet for Aaron?
And we don't need to know.
All the backups are in there too. No, it's all one. The backups are in there.
Oh, okay.
Everybody got it?
Dennis, did you get one?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, okay.
All right, there's 2 lines on this budget.
Which one we doing, appropriations or economic development?
Economic development.
Oh.
Okay, I don't have that one.
No.
You just gave us outside appropriations.
Right.
Is someone getting economic development?
That's something I have.
There's only 2 lines, you probably can just.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
It's 2 lines.
Okay.
Okay, they had,
You guys wanna look at this? As she's reading it off?
in last 2017, they had it $2,500, and it went to, what they want to do is recover existing funds from 2017, contract with UNH Cooperative Extension to conduct local business and retention program designed to increase local expansion of existing businesses. These funds are enabled to be expensed in 2017 due to staffing shortages at UNH Cooperative Extension. They're going to expect, that's their plan. And then next year, they're asking for $1,500 to explore economic development grant opportunities as well as conduct mailings to existing potential residents. And then they're going to add economic development section to Milton's master plan for $1,000. So they're requesting $2,500, and last year they requested $2,500. So they're level funding, and the increase is
0%.
I just
I got it,
didn't want to
Sean.
take that away from you.
Oh, okay. Then I take it for the economic development, the budget committee is in agreement with the selectmen's presented number of $2,500. That brings us to the outside appropriation funding request. And I need to ask you, Heather, did I have a copy of the letter that came from the Greater Wakefield Resource Center, which I believe came to you directly?
Is that the one from CAP that we get delivered today?
That is one from Susan Gaudette of the Greater Wakefield Resource Center. Because
Kristen Welsh dropped off something today.
she did.
Okay, that's from CAP. Susan Gaudette. I did not see anything from Susan Gaudette today. I had a conversation today. This is information for the committee and for the selectmen. I had a conversation with Betsy of CAP, who reviewed what she saw as the history of her presenting materials to the town. I asked her to contact Heather and go over the history so that materials could come to the attention of the budget committee. I also had a conversation with Susan Gaudette. I will pass this letter to you. If you don't have it, we can make When did she get?
it was under today's date.
Bless you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
That it is, I'm forwarding for your review and the review of the budget committee data regarding meals served to Milton residents who use the Greater Wakefield Resource Congregate Meal Program. Basically, last year they served 842 meals to Milton residents, almost 24% of the total. This year they're about 550 meals, and they are asking for any contribution. So when you present that, how may I get a photocopy of this to pass?
Yeah, we can make some copies. I mean, that didn't come in on the normal agency request.
Yeah.
Is that on the list?
No.
So that's a step actually that you guys get resolved before it gets here.
Well, I wanted to speak to that from the interests of the community. But could you begin with the Stratford CAP and then just down through the list that we have here?
Okay. I go with the list we already have. Stratford CAP, the Board of Selectmen voted to give them, they'd asked for $82.50. The board voted last night to level fund them for $72.50. Originally, I guess there was some miscommunication. We didn't think we had stuff. We did. They dropped off more stuff there, but they did vote $72.50. Ryan pointed out it was in the packets. So that was voted at $72.50. Do you want me to just go through the list straight down it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Homemakers Health Service, Homeless Center of Stratford County. The amount requested was $1,000. Homemakers Health Services, and the board voted to approve $1,000. Haven is another service they requested $1,800. The BOS voted for $500. AIDS Response Seacoast, they asked for $400. The BOS approved the request for $400. Cornerstone BNA, they asked for $56.52. The BOS approved $56.52. Some of the ones that are missing either didn't send any request in or we didn't get anything from. Stratford Nutrition Meals on Wheels, $1,500. Last year, $1,500 again that they requested. The request was for $1,500, and the Board of Selectmen approved the $1,500. American Legion, Post 61, the request was for $800. BOS honored the $800 request. CASA, the request was for $500. The BOS went with the $500 request. Then the Stratford Nutrition Meals on Wheels came out to $1,500. That was another request, like I said earlier. And also the Greater, Wakefield Food Pantry. That's a new one for us, and that was $2,500.
So your handwritten amount of $20,102 is the correct amount, Heather?
Yes.
Which is a reduction from last year.
Okay. I wanted to speak.
Unfortunately, Stan, I don't think it's a reduction.
Yeah.
It's an increase of about $1,000, or a little less, $200.
Oh, yeah, because this doesn't represent last year on here.
Sorry. Please. It's on the outside agencies.
Youth services is supposed to be in the outside agencies. That's where it's always come from.
Youth sponsorship?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not listed as, it just says youth sponsorship.
Can I make a suggestion? Whereas you have an issue, Larry has something else. Can you table this to the next meeting? Because it sounds like you got some stuff floating around here that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So we can add that, the youth sponsorship?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. This discussion of outside appropriation funding is tabled to the next meeting. That brings us through the everything except two major presentations of DPW. I would like to take just a short 5-minute, 4.5 minute break.
Just remind me, we're going to stop at 9 o'clock.
We have to go past 9 o'clock?
We're not going to go past 9 o'clock. I'm going to get some of that fine bottled water. You may start the presentation. The vice chair is available. If you feel comfortable starting.
Everybody's going.
Take my glass of water.
5 minutes.
Hey, remember we're being recorded.
You got dinner?
I do.
What's your name?
Day old method.
I think everything's down there. I'll gather it all. What is it?
It's aged. Some people play extra page stuff.
Just not old enough to have anything growing on it.
Thank you for mentioning youth services. Because I kind of questioned in my mind last night going, what? Wait a minute, let me get up. I have a 5-minute break.
I mean, 4 minutes.
And I didn't know exactly what it was because nobody bothered to tell me. You my pass? You have my pass?
Yes, this is all mine.
Sure, like that at work, lean back and go over.
This is the
all the budgets, all the numbers are in there, but now they're making some changes.
what is the most valuable thing to do? To present this as the 11-21 run for what the 2018 budget is. We will show the major patterns subject to the small corrections in the process. Does that sound good?
You can do that.
Does that sound accurate?
Yeah.
Does it help with you?
It's not gonna do nothing for me, because our budget's not in there.
I don't know, I can only speak for myself. Well, I say that,
Why you did that?
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Make it quick. Make it quick.
We're gonna be hard pressed to get this all done by.
Okay.
I don't say it.
Don't
say it.
That's,
Which one do you wish to do first?
Public Works.
Public
We've got
Works.
members here, not here.
Okay.
Yes.
Obviously, we'll just table the minutes. Would you give that to Sherry? I want her to have some of that. Okay, well, we got members still missing.
Oh, well.
No, we're not doing nothing without members here.
No.
Dennis is probably outside the door.
Yeah, cancer stick.
Yeah.
Pat, what are we doing first?
Right. I have so many papers.
Quick question.
Well,
This is
looking
not
at the
final, right?
dates.
This 2018 town budget?
We're picking up some errors. I asked Vanessa to hurry up and do it today, and she didn't get it done.
Oh, yeah, one of them did not have.
Tomorrow.
No,
See all
this
these
one
notes
had
already
every,
here,
well,
Stan?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what
okay.
we said
That's
that-
Then, this is the last major budget presentation. It is the significant and useful presentation. Pat Smith is responsible for the three budgets, DPW, government buildings, and the solid waste. You will be beginning with
Public Works.
With
We're gonna
public-
wait for them two guys to get
with
back.
Public
Works Highway.
Public Works and Highway. For the few introductory comments, start.
No, we can't stop.
We got two.
We have two members that are not here. They deserve to be hearing this. You're the one that called for the recess.
Yeah,
Okay, well, you called it. That was an
7
issue, you shouldn't have called it.
That 5 minutes is 5 minutes.
Now, go get them.
I thought somebody was going after him. I thought somebody was going after him.
Doug Shue told him to come in, that the meeting was back in order.
Thank you, Doug. Snub it out.
Okay, let's start. Okay, highway, line 110, full-time salaries.
We can't stop without the other members. I know.
The chairman is running the meeting, right, or the rest of you guys run the
Well,
meeting?
I'll make a motion, we don't.
Yeah, they are. One. Raise your hand, early cry.
Sean's not here.
We know that.
Okay.
Where'd you go?
That's no secret.
No, he'll be back.
Is he detained?
He left.
He left the building?
Yeah.
I mean, the premises?
Yeah.
All right,
back?
For a moment, you're coming back.
we'll continue then.
Highway salary, line 110, full-time,
Pen? Thing.
what?
I said.
No,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
$278,191. Full-time salary line includes the 2018 step increase and $45,000 for overtime for snow removal or any other type of washouts or something that might happen through the course of the year. Highway salary part-time line, $19,058, includes the 2018 step increase.
Next line is the highway salary elected, and that includes the 2018 step increase, and that is $65,194. Next line is FICA. Go ahead.
FICA, line 220, is 22,472, represents an increase from the step. Medicare, 5,256, an increase due to the step. Training, 1,000, no increase. Employee testing, 1,500, no increase. Uniforms, 4,700, no increase. Contract services, 13,970. There's no increase to that line.
Do we have a breakdown of contract services?
Yes, you do on the backup that I turned in with the budget.
Yep.
Line 340, it would probably be the second page.
Yep.
Top of the page. I can read it for you if you'd like. I have 6 different items in contract
Okay,
services.
I got it. Okay.
Next.
Any questions, Stan, in that line? Okay. Professional services, $394 is $1. That's reduced by $499. And that's due to the new IT contract. Electric, $5,100, no increase. Heat, $3,000, and that is a decrease of $1,000. Telephones, line 450, $3,100, that is a decrease of $800. Supplies, $24,248, that is an increase of $323. A lot of that is due to the amount of DEF that we use, and there was a small increase in engine oil. Postage, $625, $10. Operating services, operating supplies is $123,460. That's an increase of $1,884, and that is due to the increase of the price of salt went up to $53.30 per ton. Vehicle fuel, line 640, $5,500. That is a decrease of $1,500. Diesel fuel, $645, $35,000. That is a decrease of $12,800. Equipment maintenance, level funded at $20,000. Equipment purchase, $500. That is a decrease of $600 over last year. Equipment lease, $1 to keep it open. Membership and dues, $1 to keep it open. Miscellaneous, $1 to keep it open. The total budget is $631,263, a total increase of $1,072. I would like to make mention, if you look at the Excel sheet that I gave you, from 2015 to 2018, by quick math, looking at the increase over a 4-year period, I'm right at about a 1.5% over 4 years, for the total 4 years.
For the record, this year is only an increase of about 0.1%.
Yeah, yeah.
But also for the record, I'd like to say, and I know it's part of the step plan, that your salary went from $60,949 to $65,194.
But I also got an increase last year due to the warrant article.
The step plan thing,
That-
yeah, right. That's what I said, due to that.
Right.
One, questions from Dennis, your end?
Yeah, salary elected step plan. Right after the election this past season, several of us were concerned about this and asked our selectmen's representatives to speak to you about that regarding the fact that according to the RSA's, from what we could determine, salary elected are not eligible for step pay plans because of the fact that you are elected and not an employee, not a salaried employee.
Not appointed.
Evidently.
Not appointed, he is a salaried employee, but he's appointed not, he's elected, not appointed,
Yeah, he's elected, not
appointed.
or hired as such. The point being, we asked the selectmen's representative to speak to you, and he chose not to. Or at least he said he chose not to. Can you say whether or not he did or did not speak to you about possibly voluntarily surrendering that step pay plan of $4,000?
The answer is no, and I will not say that.
Even though it's,
The people voted in the step plan,
Even
yes is
though
yes,
it's
and
improvement,
and
yes,
that's
against
what
the
I'm gonna
law.
stay with.
It's actually, can I answer that, Dennis?
sure.
I can't divulge the word for it, but I can tell you, we actually got 2 legal opinions, and the people did vote it in. And because the way it was worded in, it was very clear in the step plan, that it was a warrant article, and it was spelled out that
So
is,
even though
even though he's elected, it is a clear warrant article, and that was how it was voted
the
in.
fact that there's a warrant article and there's voter approved makes it legal,
It makes it illegal because it was a warrant article.
even though prior to that warrant article having given him that raise in such a manner would have been illegal or unlawful. I mean,
I can't talk about what it would have been before, because
I know, I understand.
I'm not
I'm
a
just
lawyer,
saying,
but I can tell you.
I'm just saying,
I
it
can-
seems like we're going
What
across.
is
The attorney said to us before
Two
that
legal
whatever you put in your budget and the public votes on is what you get paid.
Okay,
Okay, so a warrant article went in to put money into the budget to pay me a certain sum,
Right, I understand that.
and it carries across now in a step plan. The people voted it in, which makes it legal. If I just did it
Right.
and got paid that, that's illegal.
Right.
But as long as the voters in this town vote, you know, with a positive number, I get paid what the voters say I get paid. With that step plan, the voters authorized to pay me up to a 10-year period, that amount of money, and then I stop at the end of that period.
okay, so can I carry this just a little bit further? The fact that it was voted on makes it proper. But does the fact that it was injected in there in that step pay plan offer the warrant article to begin with, should it not have been, in your opinion?
I can't really venture an opinion on something like that. I'm not a lawyer.
Okay, well,
The attorney said that as long as it went in a warrant article, and the people accepted the warrant article and voted it in, everything is legal. There's nothing illegal about the warrant.
Yeah, the warrant articles, first off, we do a warrant. It's checked by our attorney, it's also
Yeah,
it's
our
checked twice.
attorney looks at every warrant article we have.
all right.
And not only does our attorney look
The
at it,
DRA
DRA
would
looks
have
at it
to,
too.
Well, I just
So
know, okay.
we submit it twice. I mean, our warrant articles are looked at several times before anybody else looks at them. So it's what they were not improperly ordered, or we would have had a problem.
Okay.
So the warrant was proper.
Michelle, for the semi-living memory of the tribe question, do I remember correctly, or John Catwick back row, you might, it used to be that there was a warrant article for the town clerk which said basically, shall the town clerk get paid X dollars for the year January 1st to December 31st, bloody blah.
That was prior to me?
That was prior to you. And that warrant was specific for the elected official, and the elected official who ran for that office accepted that salary when they were run.
I don't recall the warrant article.
That was when
it
we were.
It happened prior to me.
It was still when we were in the old town meeting format.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. This, I have one small question on the Public Works budget, which is the equipment purchase all the way down at the bottom. What was that equipment for? Did I just not read it properly? Where?
Equipment purchase you're talking about?
Yeah, the equipment purchase down to 741.
I don't have anything listed on the sheet, but I have the money there for like brooms or shovels.
Okay.
A chainsaw if I need it, but mostly brooms and shovels is what I usually buy in the spring.
That's close enough for me. Then we have the detailed number for 2018 Public Works and Highway proposal of $631,263 even. That is an accurate calculation as far as the selectmen and Pat know. It is agreed to by Pat and by the selectmen. The budget committee is content with that number, and will or we will vote to it later. Thank you. Next would be Michigan Solid Waste or
Solid Waste.
Solid Waste. Yes, sir. You're up.
Okay, line 110, solid waste salary, $40,792, includes the step increase and $2,000 for overtime. Solid waste part-time, line 120, $47,298. This is for 3 part-time employees with a total of 46 hours a week. For the attendants, 20 hours per week for a driver, includes step increase. FICA, line 220, $55,462. Medicare, $1,278. Training, I have 600. That's level funded from last year. That's for training for solid waste licenses to manage and operate solid waste. Uniforms, 600. Contract services, 5,830. Contract services is for the monitoring of the landfill cap. That's water testing, air testing. It's slowly going down. Disposal, 66,000. Rental, $1. Hazard waste removal, $1. Electric, 1,700. That is a slight increase over last year, $200 increase over last year. Heat, 500. That's a 50% reduction from 1,000. Telephone, 654. Supplies, 2,159, and there's a list that goes with that. 16 items that $2,159 would cover. Postage, $10. Operating supplies, $1. Diesel fuel, 8,000, reduced from 15,000. That's a $7,000 reduction. Equipment maintenance is $1. Equipment purchase is $1. Equipment lease is $1. Permit fees is $1, for a total of $180,892, which is an increase of $599 over last year. And I would like to also point out on this budget from 2015, We were at 190,242. We have reduced $10,000 on an average down to 2018, which is a reduction of $10,000. So it looks like we're going in the right direction with user fees and how we're managing the transfer station.
I got one question.
Stan?
It's my understanding we're still taking leaves to Barron Brothers?
We are.
And the cost of that is, and where is it in here?
It's coming out of, I believe we're taking it out of the revolving account, Stan.
Okay, so there's no cost to the budget whatsoever?
It's not in here.
Because I don't see it in your markup here of descriptions.
A lot of the stuff that's in this budget that's $1, and a lot of our tipping fees come out of the user fees and the generated revenues that we get. So we try to pay as much as we can.
So what is the value of that going to Barron? It was $900 last year.
It hasn't changed, and I won't renew it until July anyway.
So that's a 0.33% increase.
One small, on the backup, when you get down to 373, I think it should read, this amount would pay for the cost of the legal asbestos bin.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at, this amount would not pay.
Just a grammatical thing.
Scratch it.
It's using the wrong figures. But
On the revolving fund and on the condition of the transfer station, every person whom I've talked to, the men who are working there, it is an absolute delight to have that blacktop there. It reduces trash, it reduces mud, it keeps your feet dry, it makes it easier for people using the facility. And if you haven't been up there, it's just nice to...
Tom had a question.
Tom?
I'm just curious, how in the world did you take $7,000 out of your diesel line?
How did I do it?
What's changed so that you're able to take out, I mean, that's, you nearly cut it in half. What changed?
The WEX program is how we have reduced
Okay. All right.
all of the fuel lines.
Okay, I didn't know that was involved with diesel also.
Yep.
Okay, all right, excellent.
So we've used the WEX.
Okay.
Very seldom do we use a state
Okay.
garage. The only time we use a state garage is if we're right there in a bind and we're plowing snow or something, or we're at Wakefield or whatever.
Yeah, it's just a huge difference, and I'd like,
No, it's due to the
Okay.
the WEX program.
Excellent.
Then, for summary, the presentation figure is $180,892 even, presented by Pat, voted and read to by the selectmen. Is that the correct number? Yes. Any follow-up comments from the budget committee? Then that number can go forward to our final vote. Last topic would be government buildings. Again, Mr. Smith.
Okay. I'll start off with, I know that you probably already have seen this, and there's a $20,056 increase in this budget, which if you ask anybody that saw me putting this together, it would drive me nuts. But what we have done, and I'll start off with the government buildings salary full-time line, we see there's an increase from $71,347 to $106,737. This is due to the Board of Selectmen canceling a contract with a cleaner, taking that money, which was $14,029, moving it to that line, so it would have come out of the 340 contract service line, moved the $14,000 into the 110 government building salary full-time line, also taking the $8,936 from the 120 government building salary part-time line, leaving that open with $1 and transferring that money into the government building salary full-time line. The position did increase that line by, I believe it's $22,965, but it was offset with those
part of that number is offset with those two figures that I just gave you from the contract service line
It's more than that.
and the salary part-time line.
So, may I ask?
Before you leave that, Sean.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. So, what's the net amount of employees that were added with that?
Just one
employee?
one employee.
My calculation from over the 2017 budget is 35,390
But you gotta subtract off that line. that's
on
been
the
changed
bottom
to a
line. I'm
dollar.
talking about just that one
Right,
line.
you're right, it is, he's right, it's 35,000. But if you
I
take
love hearing that.
If you take all of the calculations, the lines that we put in there, it really isn't that at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, we gotta make that.
Right. So, I just wanted to try to make that clear, that, and also
I
that.
appreciate you doing that.
The part of that increase also is that we added another $1,000 to overtime, so that's part of that 35,000. And you had the step increase for the two previous government building employees, which increased that line also by approximately, I think, $1,000 or something like that. So that explains all of the increases in that line,
Right now,
if I've made it clear.
the new well down the park, the Veterans Park, is that out of this budget to run
What
that?
is it?
The new well?
No, it is not.
What's that out of? What budget?
That is the selectman's deal, that's not mine.
So what's that coming out of?
The contingency.
Now, see, that shouldn't be contingency because you know what it's gonna be.
Is that where we took it from?
We haven't taken it out of anything yet, but we're gonna have to. We just haven't budgeted for it because we don't know what it's gonna cost.
I thought it was a free well, other than electricity to run it.
No, we never said that.
At the meeting, it was supposed to be a donated well.
The material, the time was donated, the materials wasn't.
That wasn't specified in
Yes,
the
it
meeting.
was.
Well, I don't remember that.
To be honest, there was a vote for, I think it was like $2,600 or $2,700 to put the well in.
And what's it at now?
We haven't got the final,
But is it more than that?
a little bit, but not much.
All right, well, it has nothing to do with this budget right now, but.
Right.
Has nothing to do with me anyway.
Right, it's a different issue.
That doesn't mean you
Are
get-
we clear on that?
How many government buildings are you servicing for cleaning? Like,
I serviced the Town Hall, Emma Ramsey Center. I serviced the Public Works. I serviced the fire station. I serviced the police station. I serviced the library. And also, to be fair, also, the library reduced their budget of $2,900 or $2,800 because of this line also. So in the bottom line budget, there's quite a bit of money that helps offset that increase.
those are all high traffic buildings too, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, to join Pat that for a moment, the library budget is down $3,000. Part of that is Pat's work in scoring the deal that we do have for fuel oil. The other part of that is the folding in of the various cleaners. The library is a particular building in that it gets a lot of foot traffic in an unpaved parking lot. It has that wonderful new flooring that was installed upstairs, and the bottom floor is also plain wood. And Betsy has said we are getting more cleaning service on a weekly basis, and I will speak for Pat's previous comments about the importance of maintaining a clean, I will call it booking room at the police station. And with the problems that are available in public health, you want that. So
What we needed to do and what we did with this position is we needed to move some cleaning from a once or bi-weekly cleaning in these buildings to a daily cleaning, especially bathrooms. We have 4 bathrooms in this building right here. They get cleaned maybe once a week. It's gonna go to daily. I believe with the public that uses the bathrooms here and the employees, I think it's just a sanitary thing. Again, to speak with what Larry said, the booking room at the police station should be sanitized on a daily basis. You don't know what's in that room from day to day. So there's things that need to be done, and this is just a way that we're trying to take care of that stuff. And also the money that the town has put into the floors and the carpets, they need to be swept and they need to be vacuumed on a regular basis and not once every 2 weeks or once a week. So this is part of the reason why that we did this. I'd like to move on unless there's questions on this position.
Oh, one last question. How many people is that? Is that one person, 2 people, 3 people, 8 people?
For the cleaning?
Yeah.
Those are one person.
One person? Okay.
One person.
And if I remember, that person is also available as available during the summer to help out on vacation rotation and things like that.
Vacation, yes, if needed. Also, that person carries a CDL license and also drive a plow truck in the wintertime if someone ends up sick or can't come in.
Thank you. Onward.
Maybe one. How many people are covered by the government building salary full-time line?
3.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, so the part-time line, government buildings part-time line is $1. That's a reduction of $89.36, which was moved into the 110. FICA is $6,618. Medicare is $1,548. Uniforms is $450. Contract services is $20,054. That's reduced because we moved the $14,000 out. But it wasn't reduced by $14,000 because we had an increase in our septic tanks pumping. We had an increase in our boiler maintenance. We had an increase in our quality fire protection, and we had an increase in our pest control. Those contracts all went up, which the total of those 4 items together was an increase of $4,017.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah, what does Cameron's do for the ball field, and which one is it? Is it the...
Cameron's works on the beach ball field.
Okay.
And he seeds it. He lays sod, he'll cut and lay sod when needed. And it's just basic, trying to keep the grass on the field and from the wear and tear.
Right. The only reason I'm asking is that I'm looking into a grant from Scott's, and I wanted to try to get that one, the ball field, looking at what's happening with Milton Mills. So I may talk to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will say that out of that contract service line, Cameron's has been donating their services for the last 3 or 4 years, and we haven't got bills from him yet. So he's just been donating.
I know.
It's going to probably end this year, because I had talked to him about that, and he did tell me that this is probably the last year of donations. He's going to start charging us for the work.
All right.
We're very grateful.
Yes.
Professional services, $1. Government buildings electric, an increase of $1,000 up to $9,600. Government buildings heat, reduced it down to $4,000. That was a decrease of $4,000. Water, $5,750. Supplies, $2,112. Postage, $1. Government building fuels, down to $4,000, a reduction of $2,500. Building maintenance, $20,000. That's for general repairs of all the buildings in town. Cemetery maintenance, $5,000. Government buildings equipment maintenance, $1,000. Government building equipment purchase, $6,600. That was up this year because we need to replace a 13-year-old lawnmower that is worn out. So it's the quotes that we got, the cheapest was $6,300 for that purchase. And the other increase was, we added another 150 to the last year's 150 for a chop saw. We've been doing a lot more of the renovations of the buildings ourselves instead of hiring it out, so it's just an added tool that would be needed for any other renovations in the future. Government building equipment lease, $500. Miscellaneous, $1. The total is $193,973, an increase of $20,056. I think just by looking at the increases from 2015 to 2018, that $23,000 increase over 4 years would probably, or looks to represent about a 3% increase over 4 years.
Questions? Follow-up, Dennis, from your end? Tom?
Yeah, I'm just curious as to when, I see like you've got Arbor Pro, I'm assuming that's contracted drug control, weed control, all that sort of thing, JP Pest Control. I wonder when the last time that you shopped around for services, for these contracted services like that?
I haven't done it in a couple of years. We've been, you know.
And I understand there's, if you're happy with the service,
Yep.
but
Actually, I think we're going to shop around for the Arbor Pro.
Okay. I just know places I've been before, they shopped around services that they've always had and found that, hey, instead of us paying them, paying us, we'll get paid by them.
I did contact Terminex, and I can't remember who the other one was, a couple of years ago, and JP Pest was just way lower. So we stayed with JP Pest. I did do an RFP for heating this year, and we did end up going with a new contractor for the heating. It is a little bit more, but we also gained more by the new fire station. That's a different heating system. And so we maintain the sewer building. And all there's like 6 or 7 buildings that we maintain.
Okay, Stan, Sean? Bob?
All set.
Okay. Then,
thank you.
For the government buildings, there is a presentation number of $193,973 even, presented by Pat, previously voted by the selectmen. That is the accurate and carrying number from their side. Okay, that.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Point of order, please. If you guys wouldn't mind, we have the outside appropriations all taken care of now. So if you don't mind, if we go over those, because that way here we can put the budgets to bed.
Okay.
We have time.
Were you planning on doing the treasurer as well tonight?
Can you give me a sec? Can we do this one first? And
Certainly.
Think on. Yeah.
A question.
I'm not the chair.
That if the selectmen believe there is an issue on any presentation already given to the budget committee, that they wish to consult with their attorney for a clearer answer, we hurry up and wait.
Yeah. Well, I got the answer. I didn't realize it, but so if we can do outside appropriations and we'll.
Heather,
they can approve it, then
Heather, did I give to you the letter?
Yep, you did.
Okay.
We looked at it.
Did you?
They need to take a vote after I read them off.
Okay. May I get copies for the?
Yeah, I'll make copies. I just gotta make copies. I'll give you guys copies.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to start from the beginning like we did last night, just so that we can get a running total, and then I'll make copies and then approve it. How's that? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8, 9, 10, 11.
You gotta make sure Aaron gets one.
Okay. Oh, wait, let me start. Go to the file. Okay.
Oh,
Ready?
okay, so just, if you would restate the process that you're going to go through right now, which
Okay.
is,
I'm gonna read the outside agency, I'm gonna read the total that we were planning on using, and then they're gonna approve them all at the end, okay? Stratford Cap, $72.50. Homemakers Health Service, Homeless Center of Stratford County, $1,000. $500. AIDS Response Seacoast, $400. Cornerstone VNA, 5652. American Legion Post 61, $800. CASA, $500. Stratford Nutrition Meals on Wheels, $1,500. Wakefield Food Pantry, $2,500. Youth Sponsorship, $1,500. Greater Wakefield Resource Center, $1,000 for a total of $22,602. Can I have one more? Ben?
I'll make a motion to accept the
Okay.
as stated
What's that for?
for $22,602.00.
I'll second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
now,
What was the number?
22,600, $22,602 dollars. You have in front of you a letter which came to me by email through Suzanne, the long-suffering Suzanne, which was a letter went emailed to Heather as the town administrator. That letter points out the meals served to Milton residents who use the Greater Wakefield Resource Center. That's the one directly up in Union, just north of the Railroad Museum. In 2016, 842 meals to Milton residents, just short of 24%. Almost 542 meals this year, presently 17% of the total meals. The cost to the Greater Wakefield Resource Center is between $12 and $14 per meal. They have a contract with the state of New York. I'm sorry. Mind lost there for the moment. You see new and you think of your pension immediately. With the state of New Hampshire for reimbursement of $5.50 a week, and they ask for $3 from the seniors. This is something that came out of a conversation that I had with Pam Arnold, who was familiar with this kind of program through her contacts as treasurer for the county. And it is, I think, an excellent thing for our residents who go north to Union, to the Resource Center. There are 3 places to get food when you're a person in short supply. There is the excellent CAP program and the food pantry in Farmington, which is an easy shop for the western part of the community. There is the Greater Wakefield Pantry program, which has just opened, taking the pressures off the food pantry that we no longer have. There are also, as you saw, the number of people who come from Milton for the socialization, for the social check-in, and for the nutrition of the program there. Of my absolute own interest, right now, by definition, $2,500 to the Wakefield Food Pantry is 100% more than they got last year. $2,000 to the Wakefield Food Pantry is 100% that they got last year. Wakefield is going up. Over in Farmington, they are at $72.50. If $500 is taken off the Wakefield contribution, they have $2,000, which is an increase from last year automatically. That brings people who use Farmington Food Resource up to a cap at $7,500. It also gives $250 to Wakefield, where seniors go up for lunch. That's the argument that was presented to me. I leave it to the selectmen and the committee to discuss it. I think it works because it provides food in 3 different directions and protects people at risk for socialization and nutrition.
Are we addressing the treasurer?
Maybe.
Greater Wakefield, whatever it is. The letter we just got.
We're going, this is something else
it's already there, right?
for us to take
No.
a look at.
You want to hit the minutes then? You want to address the minutes?
Addition to the-
So, I'm sorry, I was reading something.
Greater
So we all set with the
Resource Center.
appropriations?
You are set for appropriations
Okay.
unless you wish to consider any change based on a multiple use of funds.
So that means that budget went up $200 from last year. No, I'm wrong, because you didn't have a 2017 here, so I can't say that. I looked at this column and it's the wrong, it's not a 2017 column.
So, then the final budget for outside appropriations approved and presented by the selectmen in vote this evening is $22,602 even, correct?
I'm sorry.
Yes, yes.
No, I'm reading an opinion here.
I don't
Right.
have opinions to look at.
That,
Sorry, guys.
Header
It's
sitting.
$22,602.
Sold. Okay, then the budget committee can deal with that number. Next, from our agenda would be review.
No, you want to go back to the treasurer.
Do the selectmen wish to go back to the treasurer?
Well, we're just looking at something over here.
Would you mind doing your minutes and then
Oh,
come back to
okay.
this?
We'll hold that thought.
Okay.
Then, we have 2 sets of minutes to approve. The minutes of November 9th and the minutes of November 1st.
November 9th. I will make a motion to approve minutes of November 9th with corrections that have already been
There's more.
sent. Pardon?
There's more corrections.
Okay,
I'll second it with the corrections.
okay.
On the first page, I forget your first name, I'm sorry.
Sherry.
Sherry. On the first page, basically the third from the bottom, when it says, was current when she started, Brian Boyer states her health code, the water is not up to code. That is incorrect. The water, is nothing to do with water not to code. You cannot, by code, take water out of a bathroom for drinking purposes. All right? I know you didn't make these minutes up, but that's why I'm getting into them. The water is okay. It's the access of the water and the method of getting the water for human consumption. That's not to code. Larry?
I'm sorry, Michelle, yes.
I just had a question about the changes that you're making to those minutes. Is that actually what Mr. Boyer said, or is that what he was referring to? There's a big difference.
No, I stressed him on it, because when he said it wasn't the code, and I said, what do you mean the water's not the code? And that's when he defined his explanation that you cannot take water out of the bathroom for drinking purposes. It's against the code.
I can tell if he was just changing his words.
Yeah, no.
It's that bottom line you
All right.
had.
Okay.
So it's not that the water's not the code, it's the method of getting the water to drink that's not the code.
With the selectmen,
Yeah, we don't want people
all that
to
line,
think that the
I
water's
know,
not
scratch that out.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of.
When it's the second
No, I
best.
don't have them.
It's fantastic.
The sanitary code prohibits taking water from a bathroom fixture for drinking.
Make notes.
That should do it. Whatever phrase gets that part. Any other discussion on the May I look at the minutes of the 9th?
No, I didn't get that one. Yeah. I took off the list.
No, none of
I
us.
wanted the minutes of the minutes of the
I don't
9th.
seem to have
Uh,
those either. I don't know what happened to them.
Okay, fine, that's fine. Any other discussion of the minutes of the 9th? Okay?
Yeah, but I sent
There
them back.
there being no other,
For some reason.
then there should be a motion to,
It's already on the table.
yeah, but I didn't say it. A motion to accept the minutes of November 9th with the additions and corrections noted. Motion made by
Peg,
Peg,
I second.
seconded by, okay. Discussion taken care of, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On the,
Oh, you don't ask if there's any abstentions.
any abstentions, okay. Then on the minutes of November 14th.
I will make,
Motion to accept with corrections and additions as necessary.
I make the motion to accept the minutes of November 14th with corrections and additions as necessary.
Second.
Second.
Second by Sean. Discussion.
The very first on the top of it, it says agenda and it should be changed to minutes. Please.
That, the, yes.
So, anyway, it should be changed to minutes. And when I was going through them for Sherry, underneath public comment, Chairman Brown explained the Constitution, the statute, and members are elected and committee is comprised of other entities, school board, water department, etc. And then the members may elect who they want should they choose. I had no clue what you were trying to say there,
As far
Larry.
as the representatives, the water school and Board of Selectmen, they pick the representative.
Right, but I mean, this was just not clear
The
at
last-
all to me.
The sentence after et cetera should begin, those members may elect who they want. Should. who
How
they
about
want.
those departments
Yes,
then
those
may?
departments.
Those
Okay.
boards or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
boards, no.
All right, those boards.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. Okay, other
That
notes
was-
and, other notes and corrections.
Oh,
Tom.
no, apologies. I wasn't here for the roll call, but was Andy present as a selectman's representative or as a member of the Board of Selectmen? Because under roll call seating of members, it says Andrew Rawson,
He wasn't
selectman
here at all.
representative.
Oh, Andy, he was here for Board of Selectmen. We did not have a representative that night.
Yeah, but in the
Okay.
minutes, that's what I'm saying, is it
Right.
says
Okay.
he was as selectman's representative.
Right,
Perhaps
correct,
that should be Board of Selectmen.
right. So that's.
I wasn't here, so I don't know how he was.
I'm here
At the
tonight
beginning,
as,
DOS.
Rep.
actually the rep.
For 2 minutes and then you for 5 minutes and us for 2 minutes? Back and
Okay.
forth.
So I have a question though. It says a quorum was present, Andrew Rawson, selectman representative, but you weren't the selectman representative the last time? Which
No.
means that,
Again, he opened the Board of Selectmen
right,
meeting,
so
so
there's two.
that should say that Chairman Rawson opened the Board of Selectmen joint meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to say, I think.
Yes. That, well, I
And
had,
should not have been seconded by Sean Perot, though, to open their meeting.
I think joint meeting, is that the difference?
Yeah, you can't open there, it has to be.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was Ryan.
Right, makes sense.
Oh, you're right, that's right.
the minutes of the budget committee are the record of the actions and votes of the, and work of the budget committee. In passing, we are describing the work of the Board of Selectmen, which was present at that meeting. I have some small detail changes to make, which is, as you already noted, agenda should be crossed out. There is a slight change in order. It begins Pledge of Allegiance, and then the work agenda, scratch A, B, and C. The work agenda was called to order at 6:03 p.m. And it's not necessary to say that I opened the Budget Committee meeting, that when you call it to order, it is open. And in the second paragraph, it just that Andy made a motion to open the Selectmen's meeting and was seconded by Ryan. So that is just the sense.
Those are the changes, yes.
Yes, and does it note that Tom arrived? Oh, okay. If someone were being picky, they would say that Tom arrived at 7:03, but no, doesn't bother me. I don't think so. Any other? I'm just glad you came.
Okay, I think that's it.
There's only one, this is not the Emma Ramsey building. Should it be the town hall? Emma Ramsey's downstairs.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
I made that
This
mistake
is the
once.
Selectmen's quarters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, is that what it's called?
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Any other questions, additions? None? Okay.
So I blew it on this.
Then, discussion
Sorry,
ended on the vote to approve with the corrections noted. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any abstentions? Then, as I think of it, if it wasn't clear, Erin Hutchins was excused by the chair for tonight's meeting.
So you have the treasurer.
So we have, that brings us back to a revisit. I wouldn't say reopen, we're still revisiting the treasurer's budget.
Yeah, thank you. So if we were to, would this budget stop you folks from doing your work on December 4th if we were to get another opinion, or would this kind of like put a stop to moving forward with getting
Well, we
budgets?
can't move forward till we get the final budget, to see what the default and what the increase is over last year, if there is any. So it's not gonna stop us. We could address this first, right, Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Let me, okay. We have in years past, and Bob and Stan know that, dealt with budget numbers that were still in flux up to a half hour before the public hearing. I don't like that. It is not a productive use.
Don't refer back.
It is not a productive use of our time, the selectmen's time. If I were the public, I would be nervous that we couldn't get our act together faster. Second.
Well, I just want to make sure.
I don't mean to be here, but
Yes.
is it yes or no?
No,
I mean,
that-
I would say
are we
no,
gonna-
because you don't have final figures for the whole budget yet, personally.
Yeah, secondly, if you are in a situation where you feel it is necessary to have a clear legal opinion for the mutual protection of the rights of all concerned, do it.
Okay, well,
Let's just, I think we should hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that before.
So we're gonna go back to originally when we say we're gonna address it on our next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
And I wish you well for the useful resolution
And
of all
hopefully we'll
problems.
have a full budget by then with all the corrections made and default and everything.
Mike, can I just say something?
Oh, sure.
Mr. Chairman?
Sir.
Sir.
Okay, I'm sitting back here.
We're gender.
You're on your own on that one, buddy.
I've done the same thing to Michelle. Yes, ma'am.
I I'm gonna work with our finance bookkeeper to get the corrected numbers put in here over the next few days or early next week, and have all the default numbers put in there. And then I will work with her to make sure that they all get out, emailed out to you early next week. That will give you the time to go forward. The only question now is what we do with the treasurers. We may need to call an emergency, not an emergency, but a special BOS meeting, just to address this one issue, correct?
Okay.
Sure, I'm fine with that.
And
Okay.
my understanding is that no matter what the variations in the proposed operating budget for 2018, your default numbers, which are under your executive control, should not vary, and they should be the first thing that you can.
She can enter those pretty
Put up.
quickly. I think
Good.
she has most of them now, so.
Okay.
Could carry right over, most of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Fine. That makes sense. Here.
I just have a quick comment.
Sure.
If we could get that in both formats, that would be awesome.
This is for,
Yeah, because we got mailed something today that was only in PDF format, so it was kind of hard.
oh, she came in late today. so
Yep.
I couldn't send her.
Yep.
Okay. Tom, at your end.
I don't think I have anything else.
Peg?
I'm all set.
Bob?
I just want to make sure that the committee knows that our side's gonna be blank. So when we decide what lines we're gonna change, it'll be easier for them to see it, and whatever we don't change, they can slide it right over. This is how we did it before. It was easier for them to spot.
Oh, okay.
Our numbers are not gonna be in there till we meet on the 4th.
Right. So what Bob is asking for is enough room on the spreadsheet
There is
in landscape so that there will be a continuous open line, so we can either go check, 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 beep, check, check, check for our side of it,
It's
right?
there. Yeah, it's already there.
We got a column
Okay.
here. It'd be easier to, if we make changes, it'd be very obvious where they were changed.
Right.
Then the rest that don't change, they can put right in.
And Sean, you're content that the presentation of information in your format will be done by Vanessa, and it will be easy to do and will not be a time crunch. Stan? Dennis? Okay, then Stan?
Hold on for a minute.
Okay.
The November 27th meeting is canceled. We don't need it.
Right.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to address, though, is back to the well. I personally like to see it, because it's affecting the budget, how much it costs, what it's gonna cost to run it down at Veterans Park. Because it's gonna come out of someplace in this budget. And it can't come out of contingency, because
No, that was my, I apologize. It's probably gonna come out of unanticipated.
Well, how can it come out of, it is anticipated, you know it has to be there, you know you have the budget for it.
We didn't know that it was gonna go there, though.
That's out of last year. I'm talking about this up and coming year.
Oh, this coming year.
To 2018.
Oh, that's coming out of government.
Well, he just said it wasn't. Pat said it wasn't.
Well, no, the well had nothing to do with him.
That-
But going forward, he has the electricity in his government buildings, I'm sure. Because that electricity down there runs Veterans Park. And,
You're talking about the lights.
Huh?
You're talking about the lights down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if I can jump in the middle, the ownership of the authority to drill the well and the cost of the materials are the executive authority of the selectmen. The operating expenses to pull water out of the ground for town use over the year will be a budget item, the electricity for which will come out of government buildings.
And we don't know what that's gonna be, because we haven't even used it yet.
You got a budget for it.
Well, I'm sure he's budgeted something.
And as far as what the overall cost of the well, that's public knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So I
have
personally like to see what it was, because I think it's gonna be double, if not more, than what you originally thought it was.
Then-
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, it's transparency. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll definitely.
Now I'm all set.
In that case, you have 18 minutes to get home. Peg?
May I just clarify what Bob just said? When did you cancel a meeting on us, for us?
About 20 minutes ago.
November 27th. If we did not finish the budgets, that was an open, and I know we were gonna probably meet to go over the
Okay.
budget, but
Remember you said you
being,
couldn't be here for the 4th?
Yeah,
I know, but that was I put that over there, but I was going to do, hopefully we could get the budgets going, the joint meeting to go over this, but tomorrow is Wednesday, then you got a 4-day holiday, then you got a Monday, it's not gonna work for them. It won't work for us either. So,
Okay, so we're
December 4th,
deleting that one. I just need to make sure because I'm not gonna be here on the 4th.
If we needed to finish the budgets, I put the 27th in case we didn't
Okay.
finish tonight. We did finish, so December
So
4th.
you're not, so just for clarity, you're not gonna be here for the potentially the final vote on the budget?
Well, because I thought it was gonna be the 27th and the 4th just came up tonight.
Where, do,
I mean, am I crazy that the 4th did not just come up tonight?
I'd have to go back and look at the paper you gave us.
Sean is shaking his
I don't
head.
remember the 4th, but
The thing is, I passed out these calendars,
Right.
apparently they must have went in the garbage.
No?
No?
Because the Board of
Fire
Selectmen
ones.
having a meeting,
Yeah, and that's all that was on there was Board of Selectmen, which
That is
I
the-
could have passed.
okay.
that's as
Um,
close as we can get before we start the school, within 3 days from going to the school.
Do you,
Peg, are you?
is it useful to
My-
mention
well-
where you're going to be?
I'm going to be in Vermont. My daughter is having surgery.
Can't she postpone it?
Uh,
Sure, I'll call her right now.
I,
Is Tuesday or Wednesday better?
No, 'cause
any one of us
I'm
is-
taking care of the little guy. She can't lift
Any
anybody.
one of us is subject to being absent for reasons under or not under our control.
I know.
Erin was not here because she got delayed in Manchester. Structurally, it is not useful, given the amount of time left in this year and the budget process. As a whole, 8 members, hostage is not the right word, to a date that works for the selectmen and the rest of the committee and advances the pressures of getting this budget done and the next budget started.
Let me ask the committee. I know we went through it. I know I put this calendar together, this is the one I got. And I did put possibilities of when we could meet. And is the 4th good? If not,
I don't have a problem with it. I know you mentioned it earlier. I don't have a problem with it.
Well, let's run it down. Stan?
Aye.
Sean?
It's unfortunate that Peg won't be able to make it, but
I-
it is what it is.
I will say the same thing. I like your input. I appreciate the work that and the questions, and your financial eye for the work that has come. We wouldn't be able to vote except for that work. Bob, you're in favor of the 4th. Peg understood you can't be here. Tom,
I'm fine with the 4th.
you're the 4th.
All right, let me see. I mean, I know she's not going to
Secretary, you gonna be
reschedule,
okay
but
with that?
the 4th?
Sherry, you gonna be okay with that, the 4th?
Okay.
Or she can get somebody else to take care of the boy.
I just
Both
can't
of them.
go,
Bob, it's
See.
finished. We figured it out. It's the
Yep,
4th.
you guys are gonna be the 4th. I will figure something out because I do
maybe
wanna
we
be
can
here.
get you on the phone, speakerphone?
I hate
We
that.
did it once.
Yeah, we can do that. Be difficult not necessarily having a paper, but
Yeah, we've held meetings with selectmen being via phone, so.
I mean, one of the nice things that she could actually watch it on YouTube
Yeah.
while it's running, and then if she wants
Is there a
to
delay?
talk, she can obviously
No.
say, "Hey
Yo!
guys, hey guys, oh, I don't hear you, Peg."
We can put
Yeah, that
we can
is-
put a little.
Actually, when I broke my back, I did that. I
Yeah.
was on the phone, laying in bed, watching on YouTube. It was great.
Too many details.
So we can do this
We'll put a small.
from our
It is.
comfort of our house in our pajamas.
Yeah, there you go. No need.
All right, let's get that resolved.
Slap happy.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to
Second.
adjourn. Second, I think Peg beat you.
I mean, I've beaten you on that one, Tom.
Oh, yeah, Peg, we can figure something out. Take care of your daughter.
Yeah.
You are doing fabulous job.
I was gonna say.
Maybe she could do it for a process.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't-
No, too much detail in there.
Well, you know, the board meeting minutes, I
figure it
have
out.
to give you a lot of
Take care of
detail,
your daughter. You watch it on
Well,
YouTube if you want to talk.
if her mother-in-law,
but
Nope, almost took out your eye.
hey, thought I got dog protection. Yeah, I mean, we may be able to.
It's the
It's just got, like,